hey.
Hey! Right, that's better. Hello, I'm Gary Lucas. What day is it today? Tuesday, December 10th? Yeah. I'm back in New York. Had a wonderful time in Paris. Really fantastic week. A great gig. I'll tell you all about it. I'll try to play a little bit for you. Yes, what was it? A little bit of Third Stone from the Sun. I would say I rate Jimi Hendrix to this day as the ultimate electric guitarist. Certainly in the blues category, never better. I never heard anybody that approaches prowess on the instrument. But anyway, so we were in Paris, great gig at the Sunset Jazz Club, this great old school French jazz club. I played there at least 30 times over the year. The really nice people who run it. And I had a great French diva, Demi Mondaine, singing some of my Jeff Buckley songs and a few of her songs. And it was packed, it was sold out. So we really enjoyed that. But best of all on this trip was going to 3 fantastic art exhibitions. Caroline and I are definite fans of museums when it's done properly. So we were at the Louvre for a great show that's on, at least I think till mid-January. If you're in Paris, please check it out. And it's called Figures of the Fool. And it's the Fool iconography through history. However, I mean, the one flaw in the show is they don't reference anything but Fool as originally defined as a godless person. I mean, this is how even the name came about, and it just passes over the whole tradition of the holy fool, as exemplified by, for instance, Prince Mishkin in Dostoevsky's The Idiot. And I have a penchant for holy fools myself, but there's no trace of the holy fool there. But the fools that are depicted and exemplified, and they'll sell you a really beautiful edition of all of the images and as you exit through the gift shop, as they say. That's worth the price of admission alone. Certainly, the audience for the show was just staggering, and it was hard to navigate through all of the rooms to view the paintings without treading on people's toes. Not to mention, of course, the other masterpieces in the Louvre. The biggest being, of course, the Mona Lisa, and that room was almost impenetrable. I posted a photo of various people rubbernecking that painting, and we couldn't even get very close to it. It wasn't really worth the wait. Anyway, we've seen it. But we love the Louvre. And we were also at Centre Pompidou, the Beaubourg, for a fantastic show of surrealism. And I've been to many a surrealist exhibition over the years with Caroline, including Tate Modern a few years ago. The Royal Academy had a version of the same show. Also, the Metropolitan Museum of Art during the pandemic, as I recall, maybe like right as the pandemic was upon us, we went up to that show. And there was an issue, actually, of where they were hanging, whose paintings, what. I mean, this would have engendered fistfights in the old days among living artists who might have viewed their work as being hung in a disadvantageous position on the wall. And there were also issues of glare with the way the lights were situated. So, yeah, I'm a professional carper, am I not? But this show was done right. It was superb. The only thing missing was Duchamp's The Bride Stripped Bare by the Bachelors even. But we've seen that. This is the cracked glass. And that was at the Tate Modern. Otherwise, the examples were superb. And also you got the added bonus of people who were kind of tangentially signified now in the rubric of general surrealism. And that would be people like Wilfredo Lem, great Cuban painter. They have some fantastic work of his in Havana in a museum on display. Also, Unica Zern, who really straddled various traditions, and she was a controversial figure. I love her literary work. She has a few novellas, I guess you could call them, but they're hallucinatory essays, such as Dark Spring. You should seek them out. But her drawings, especially, are some of the most obsessive work I've ever seen. I can't describe them, but you can look them up. And she was associated with her lover for many years, Hans Bellmer, who was famous for his transgressive poupée puppets, or almost life-size human figures that he assembled out of various materials and fitted with wigs and whatnot. So there's some great Belmer work there. I could go on and on, but last but not least, I would recommend a visit to the Musée du Quai d'Orsay. No, Musée du Quai Branly. I'm sorry, I was like confusing it with Quai d'Orsay, which is also a good museum. I think maybe I was there years ago. I had a friend who was working in Branly, but it was almost like new territory for me, virgin territory. And this is kind of an ethnographic museum. It's very controversial because there are many people around the world who believe that the artwork, which stems thousands of years back to primitive man, in stone, fabric, drawings, paintings, what have you, music, some of this was appropriated in an unfair way from the original, let's say, owners or appropriators or generators of this artwork. So that's going on. However, the museum stays open, and it is hallucinatory. It's the trippiest museum I've ever been in. The only museum that could compare would be the Dali Museum in Figueres, Spain, which is certainly worth a visit. Also fantastic. But this museum, especially at the top floor, there was a whole exhibition on the zombie in art with various iconographic zombie stories depicted, film excerpts, for instance, from Bela Lugosi, White Zombie, fantastic horror film, as well as other work. And then on the floor underneath it, and this was a very extensive survey, they have their basic exhibition, which just covers the waterfront from Asia, Africa, the Americas, and Oceania, of stone figures, ceramic figures, paintings, drawings, fabric, textiles, what have you, and music. And it's just spooky, and I'm actually parceling out pictures I took one by one over the next couple of weeks, because I took a lot. But one was more like just unbelievable than the next, as far as like where your gaze would shift to take it all in. It actually would be impossible to take it all in, because they have thousands of examples and a whole storeroom of other stuff, just in case they have to give some of it back. They got 1 million of them, believe me, in storage, and replaceable, all these, but irreplaceable, obviously. So you need to visit this fantastic Musée du Quai Branly in Paris. So those are 3 of our best moments, but also seeing some dear friends who are residents there. I don't have to name you, I hope you're tuning in, but if not, hi. And that's about it. Anyway, so I'm back in the saddle. We're approaching Christmas. Caroline lost her voice on the way back. I was just getting over some sort of bug that I picked up on the way from Transylvania to Brussels a few weeks ago to play some shows, a festival in Brasov in the Carpathian Mountains, and then on to Brussels and Southern Holland, and Amsterdam for shows. And I'm happy to be home for a little bit. And more gigs are coming in. I hope to announce them soon. But the next one that I'm going to be doing would be a week from Sunday, this Sunday. And that is December 22nd, Sunday, December 22nd, up in Woodstock, at the Colony Woodstock, one of my favorite places to play. And that's with my new lineup of Gods and Monsters, my longtime band. Now it's a psychedelic power trio, jam band, whatever you want to call it. It's heavy on instrumentals. I'm doing a few vocals and some songs in my songbook that I've been doing for a while. And it features the great Calvin Weston from Ornette Coleman, James Blood Ulmer, the Lounge Lizards on drums. I toured with Calvin in the early 90s all over Europe on a Knitting Factory tour. He was with Blood. And he's just one of the best drummers I've ever played with. He's just spectacular. And my old cohort and longtime friend and associate Ernie Brooks from the Modern Lovers and Arthur Russell, those are probably the 2 best known projects he's associated with other than Gods and Monsters. And Ernie anchors the whole thing down with his very solid bass playing, and Calvin and I are kind of just taking the whole thing out in various directions around Ernie's Space, and I can't wait to play. And then I'm doing it in New York. The official, actual debut of this lineup will be at the City Winery, the Loft at City Winery, and that is on Monday, January 6th, which is the insurrection anniversary of Trump's attempt to subvert democracy in this country. Well, he seems to be winning at the moment. Who knows what's going to happen next? And yeah, my amplifier agrees. So without further ado, I'll just wrap it up here. But if you're around New York or Woodstock, whoops, that's good. Please, by all means, pay a visit and come up and say hi. And then there's more gigs, as I said, but I'll be announcing them as they sort of come up in the feed. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I love it. There goes the machine here. And have a safe holiday, but I'll be seeing you before Christmas again. All right. Peace out.